Hi, Samudra.
Hello everyone. So in this AI session, we'll be talking about image to 3D human digitization. It's basically taking an image of a person, full body image also might work, and uh, just one single image, and then making a 3D model out of it, predicting it. Yeah, so I'll share my screen now. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like in general, I'm choosing this topic, but then I'll be going deeper into a particular method, which is kind of new and also like quite fast and accurate as well. And then
Okay.
I'll also be showing a demo for like how it works and how like anyone can use it basically. It's up in public in Colab.
Okay.
So first, we'll learn about what 3D human reconstruction framework is. There's like the term that the ML scientists and all put for this kind of a method. So basically, many human reconstruction methods rely on parametric model for regression. There are basically two types of models. So the one requiring parametric model, basically it requires a model, so it is called a model-based method, parametric model for regression. And basically it uses all like the model has all shapes of human with different poses, and like it's all the muscular figure basically, how the muscles interact, move, how they pose, and stuff like that. So but these reconstruction methods, they predict typically the naked body, like the muscles, how they are posing, how they are shaped, how they are posed, the human body, and the personal details such as clothes and hairstyles, they are basically ignored. And on the other hand, there's model-free regression, which is more flexible and expressive, as it shows the area of clothing or hair on the body, but then it also has a few limitations. We'll be discussing that also. And yeah, like this is more closer to the actual image, this thing, but if we look it very clearly, it will kind of look like a blob. So yeah, like these methods, they rely explicitly on the shape representation such as boxes, which we discussed earlier in object detection as well. And it limits the resolution of the output image. So this is like the difference, the model-based and the model-free. In the model-based, the first one, you'll see like it's like the muscular body, like the clothes and everything is in clothes, hair and everything is ignored. It's just this. And like it's basically the same for everyone. Just the color here seems different and the size because of the distance, but it's basically the same person. You can't distinguish who is who, but which model is whose. In the second one also, you'll see like the cloth as well is kind of replicating, but then it's not very clear because the resolution is very low. Number of pixels and like polygons is also very low. So to address the resolution limitation for the second one, PIFU was introduced, which is pixel aligned implicit function. It basically uses a neural network, neural implicate function for the shape representation. And the 3D shapes are represented by labels set by set of occupancy fields. Occupancy fields is basically what is implicitly used for the like occupancy network is used for the 3D, basically channeling the 3D to a continuous data format. And yeah, like they're using a multi-layer perceptron here. So since this formulation does not involve any discretization, it can effectively model 3D shapes at an arbitrary resolution. So here the continuous data is not needed to be converted into discrete data, and it's kind of fast, like compared to the previous model, the model free one. This is kind of faster, and also like the output is at a arbitrary resolution. Like here's the method, like the flow diagram, how it's used, and the formula as well. Now, how is PIFO different from the earlier methods? So earlier works, which included a occupancy network, they encode the input image as a global descriptor to reconstruct corresponding 3D shapes. So the whole image is encoded and put into like used as a global code, which is basically the occupancy network. Like as I was saying, it's helps in the making the 3D shape into a continuous data table, and then uses MLP, multilayer perceptron, to get the occupancy, which is the final result, as you can see here. However, this way the network does not leverage spatial relationship between the query 3D points and the image input image. So it's kind of like the clothes and the skin, or the hair and the skin, they kind of mesh together. There's no like the surface is plain, mostly plain. For this, what PIFO does is that it utilizes free convolution image features, which associates query 3D point and the projected pixel coordinate. So you will see a difference with the actual material that they're wearing, and it's not just all skin and painted over it. Like you will see some difference with the clothing that they wear or the hair that they have with the actual skin. Given the pixel aligned code and a query to depth value, it can infer 3D occupancy fields in a pixel aligned manner. However, there was an issue. Like this was proposed last year. Like thing is, the resolution was quite low. Like it was much better than the previous papers, but then the resolution was low. So this year, they addressed those limitations. Like basically the original PIFO, PIFO implementation, it utilized an image encoder that has downsampling operation to keep the spatial resolution small for the following reasons. One was small feature resolution allows holistic reasoning. So basically, it was kind of like a course module, which allowed holistic reasoning, as in like it was faster. Like computation was much faster because they didn't worry too much about the details. But then, yeah, because of this, like a lot of details were missed, and it was kind of low resolution. Then the second one was using finer image encoder. It was much sharper and more detailed, but then it took way too long time, and it usually added too many extra facts into the actual input image. So if the guy was wearing a simple shirt, it would look like the shirt was too heavy or something like that. Like they would add too much information. So here's the coarse image encoder and fine image encoder. Coarse image encoder, which they use, it lacked details, but then it was fast. And the fine image encoder, it lacked holistic reasoning, which was fast, but then it lacked detail. Sorry, it had detail, but it lacked the training speed, the holistic reasoning. So what they did was a coarse to fine multi-level approach. So basically, they merged both the methods, because one was supplementing the other. So they used both of them, in a different way, basically. For the core, they use the coarse one to get the computation done fast, and the finer one to get the integrity details, and then they mashed it up together. Here's the final code. This is the input. By downsampling, there's the coarse pixel, coarse image encoder, which gives a low resolution. And then using the raw dimensions, raw resolution, it gives a higher resolution but extra details. So they mashed them together, and then finally they got the like more accurate compared to this thing, and it was around 1K resolution, the final product. So here are some images that were taken from the internet, and then the model was made. Like these were all still images, and then the model was made with that 3D model. So you can see here the coat, you can see the line how the coat is going along. Just from the image at the front, it recognizes it's a coat. I mean, not a coat, but I don't know. Like here it's a coat, right? So it'll seem how, like how the code should be basically. Even the hair. Okay. So yeah, like there's already a code existing in Colab. Show that. I'll share the link in this thing PPT in references. Okay. So yeah, how to run this code is basically like it's quite simple. Like you can skip the first few tabs basically. It's about how to what the paper is about and stuff like that. Keep in mind the requirements if you're running it in the local device. And then first, you'll have to clone the main repository, which is the P4HD from GitHub. You click on this play button and then it'll clone it here. If I run it again, because it's already here, it might show an error. Go inside sample images, which is inside here. There's already an image here, so I'll be using that. This is the image. I'll use the same image. I'm just putting it in the variable so that that image can be used. Then we'll also clone the pose estimation repository. Here we'll download all the, like basically the checkpoint for the model. Like we are all like running it in a sequence from top to bottom. Here from the square image, it was a square image, so we are getting a rectangle because this program is made to run with a rectangle image. Yeah, like we'll go sequences, and then we'll run the Py4HD code. Here we'll load the model from the checkpoint. Load the checkpoint, sorry. This will basically create an OBJ file, which I think people know, like it's a 3D model file. 100% done. So it's in result P4HD final recon, which is here. So two things are here. One, PNG is also here. This is basically show how the image was converted into a 3D. Like there's the front one and there's the back. This was predicted. And then we'll download here. I've already downloaded it. This is the image. This is a model basically from just one image. Yeah.
This is just for human beings.
Yeah, this is only for human beings. Because they are using a human pose estimation and stuff like that, like already existing models, which are meant for human. So a single image can be clicked for a human, even from the side as well. And it'll predict the front, back, top, bottom, everything. I also tried with the actor, this Timothy something. It's not as accurate, but like because the background is not the, it's kind of it's using the background as a this thing. Consider the background as the.
That sample image had a background blur. So
Yeah. Like it actually blurs itself, but then for more accuracy, people can blur it. Yeah, I think that's it. Any doubts?
Not from my end.
Samudra,
Yeah.
I don't have any doubts in this, but I had some questions regarding the image scan, basically.
Image scan as in like the input image that is used?
Yeah, input image can someone outsmart AI into that for that thing?
As in?
Like, say for example, if there is, now how should I explain it to you? Say for example, if there is a requirement of a particular image, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that image is photoshopped or that image is made exactly the same way it was supposed to be, can that outsmart AI to detect whether it's fake or whether it's real? Like,
That's a different topic, I think. But
yeah, that's a different topic. Like, it wasn't about this thing.
I mean, actually, like in one of the previous sessions, like of object detection and all, there was a thing like a normal person just standing, it was able to detect as like a person, but then a person holding some framed image and all, it wasn't able to actually recognize it as a person.
Hmm.
So like yeah, like that was kind of later on, but yeah, like you're saying, basically making a 3D model of an actual human and then using that as a, right?
Yes.
I'm not that certain of it, but I think yeah, the detection is improving like from before. Like it's able to say if it was real or fake. Like there's deep fakes and all, programs that can basically tell if it's a real person speaking or a deep fake that's speaking. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, doubts?
No.
ठीक है then. Okay, thank you for joining. I'll be posting this PPT in the AI Sessions channel. You can go through it and you can go to the reference. There you'll find where the code is or any video reference that's there. ठीक है.
Okay.
If you have any doubts, you can post it in the same chat.
Cool.
Okay, thank you very much for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.